What a win!
Big win for the Indiana Fever.
They got the win over the Las Vegas Aces.
It wasn't the most entertaining game.
The Indiana Fever pulled it off.
Tough one, man. 80-70.
On their home court without Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is not playing.
If we have Caitlin, great, and we know how to play with her. If we don't have Caitlin, great, we know how to play without her.
The Aces against the Caitlin Clarkless Fever, it is a really bad look.
They have the confidence to come out there and make big plays for us.
No Caitlin, no problem.
Provided Caitlin Clark's in it, but Caitlin Clark's hurt.
The Fever just humbled A'ja Wilson and the Aces again. And you could still feel Caitlin Clark's impact all over that court.
The Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark go up against the Las Vegas Aces and last year's MVP, A'ja Wilson, and walk away with a W, 80-70.
If you're 100% Team Caitlin, drop a 100% in the comments right now.
Caitlin Clark was celebrating, jumping up and down. I hope she didn't re-aggravate anything.
Caitlin Clark is the face of a league.
There's one person in this league that when she walks in the building, when she walks in the room, the owners see dollar signs. There's only one person and her name's Caitlin Clark.
No one saw it coming. Not the fans, not the media, and definitely not the Las Vegas Aces. Caitlin Clark was out. The Fever were supposed to fold. Instead, they came out swinging and walked away with a statement win.
Indiana Fever pulls out a tough one, man. 80-70. Ended up turning it up in the second half.
When we've had a slight lead going into the fourth quarter without Caitlin Clark, we won!
And what makes it even more embarrassing for Vegas? This wasn't a one-time fluke. It was the second time Indiana took them down without their superstar.
This is the second time they've defeated the Aces without Caitlin Clark.
That's not luck. That's dominance.
I've beaten the Fever twice without Clark. Or I'm sorry, beaten the Aces twice without Clark.
From the tip-off, it was clear. One team wanted it more.
That was all-out effort. One team wanted to be there. The other team did not want to be there.
The Fever didn't just show up. They outworked, out-hustled, and out-coached the defending champs.
Like, you just outworked the team.
The first half was scrappy and messy, but Indiana never backed down.
They gave up 11 turnovers, right, in the first half. They were still fighting, and they stayed in the game. They did a great job staying within the game and actually mucking it up for the Aces.
They stayed within striking distance, setting the tone that this wouldn't be a blowout. And then came the second half, where the game flipped. The Fever's third quarter was explosive. Natasha Howard erupted for 11 points in that frame alone.
And this was a game where they played very inspired in the second half,
giving Indiana a 27-5 run that broke the game wide open.
Natasha Howard, 11 points in the third quarter, a 27-point third quarter without Caitlin Clark.
Without Caitlin's playmaking, the ball moved crisply. Players stepped into shots with confidence.
You know, you get to 80, shoot well from three, creating open shots. How much can you tell when a game starts or in the course of a game that your offense is more fluid on a particular night, and how long does that last?
The defense locked in, shutting down passing lanes and suffocating Vegas on every possession.
Starting off with our defense. Our defense get our offense going. That's how we maintain games like that. We don't rely on our offense a lot. We rely on our defense to get our when our defense is going, our offense is going. So we limited Vegas to one shot, and that's how we got open shots for the shooters.
Vegas, loaded with names like A'ja Wilson and Jackie Young, looked stunned. The defending champs were being bullied. By a Caitlin-less squad many had written off as too young and too inconsistent. And while Caitlin wasn't on the floor, her impact was everywhere. These were her teammates, her energy, her culture. The Fever played with that edge she brings, the urgency, the toughness, the chip on the shoulder. They didn't just want to win. They wanted to make a statement. And they did. The Fever didn't just beat the Aces. They exposed them. This wasn't about luck or hot shooting. This was about heart. And the Fever had more of it.
It's all about outworking your opponent at this stage.
If there was ever a moment to silence the doubters and remind everyone why the Las Vegas Aces are back-to-back champions, this was it. The Fever were missing Caitlin Clark, their primary ball handler, leading scorer, and emotional spark. But instead of stepping up and putting the game away early, A'ja Wilson and her squad crumbled. And the fall wasn't subtle. It was loud, painful, and completely avoidable. Let's start with A'ja Wilson, the reigning MVP. Stat sheets say she dropped 20 points, but anyone watching knows that was the most hollow 20 points of her career. She was outplayed, outmuscled, and outclassed by Aaliyah Boston.
Aaliyah Boston was just throwing the ball at the basket and hoping for the best, but she locked down A'ja Wilson today. She completely outplayed A'ja Wilson,
who threw her off rhythm, challenged her physicality.
Aaliyah Boston sealing off point guards in the paint. We have to find a way to get that ball down in there and not get that over-the-top entry pass to her.
And made every possession a grind.
You banging down there, you playing hard, 10 rebounds, 4 offensive.
Multiple breakdowns in the paint, missed rotations, turnovers. She finished with 5 of them. The frustration showed on her face. Her body language was off. And when the game was slipping, she didn't elevate her team. She disappeared. Even the referees weren't buying it this time. In previous games, A'ja seemed to live at the free throw line. Phantom fouls, soft contact. The whistle always came, but not this time. The officiating held steady.
A'ja Wilson, I think, went to the damn free throw line I don't know how many times. I swear it was 20 times. I mean, it was every other move. Beep, the fucking whistle went off, and A'ja Wilson's headed back to the line.
The Fever didn't back down, and A'ja couldn't find her usual rhythm. She was visibly frustrated, and that tension bled into the entire team.
A'ja Wilson, 20 points, 6 rebounds, 5 turnovers for A'ja Wilson. A'ja Wilson, there's a play. She reaches over AB, literally gives AB a hug.
A'ja was terrible. Absolutely terrible. I don't care that she had 20 points. The fakest 20 points ever.
Jackie Young was solid. She managed 19 points.
Yeah, A'ja Wilson still had 20. Jackie Young, 19.
But where was the rest of the star power? Chelsea Gray, often called point fraud by critics, played just 1 minute and disappeared from the game.
Point fraud was awful. Point fraud was a big reason they lost that game.
Chelsea Gray, the point fraud, as they like to call. Chelsea Gray, didn't you say you were keeping receipts after your unrivaled performance? You've been awful this year.
Dana Evans couldn't hit a shot. The Aces bench was lifeless. Sydney Colson had 5 brutal turnovers, including 2 careless step-outs on catch-and-shoot attempts. Every time Vegas tried to spark a run, they collapsed under pressure.
How much is defense a part of that, specifically to what you guys have dealt with this season?
Defense is very important. To be able to stop runs like that, we got to play defense. And I feel like we did a good job tonight on stopping Vegas runs. And we didn't get routed up or anything like that. We were like, okay, they got their run. Now it's our turn to get our run, and that's what we did.
They weren't being beaten by just talent. They were being outworked, out-toughed, and frankly, out-coached. And that third quarter? An absolute embarrassment for a championship-caliber team. Vegas was outscored 27-5. That's not just a bad stretch. That's a meltdown. It looked like Indiana was playing for their season, while the Aces were just going through the motions.
Good Lord. Chelsea Gray, point guard where? 9 points, 4 assists, 3 of 9 in 32 minutes.
No urgency, no leadership, just a team staring blankly while the Fever ran circles around them. Let's be real. The Aces expected a walk in the park, but what they got was a brick wall. Indiana played with energy, grit, and pure defiance. It didn't matter that Caitlin Clark was out. The Fever channeled her spirit and let the Aces know.
A'ja Wilson, 20 points, only 6 boards, and kind of disappeared down the stretch.
You can't take nights off in this league anymore, especially not against a team with something to prove. This loss wasn't just a one-off. It was a warning shot. The defending champs are beatable, and Caitlin Clark didn't even need to touch the floor to prove it. A'ja Wilson? She wasn't just outplayed, she was exposed.
Kelsey Mitchell kind of came into this game with a target on her back, ended up scoring 21 points, but did not have her best shooting night.
While the headlines may scream Caitlin Clark out, what they should really say is Fever culture in full effect. Because what unfolded on that court wasn't just a team surviving without its star. It was a group of underestimated players rising up one by one.
We put out a statement today that, she's day to day. And so we know that as a team, and so that's helpful to mentally prepare. But I really do think that, if we have Caitlin, great, and we know how to play with her. If we don't have Caitlin, great, we know how to play without her. And I think that's just so important. It gives people confidence that when she is back, They know their role, and then when she's not, they have the confidence to come out there and make big plays for us.
And handing the defending champs a loss so humbling, it could shift the entire tone of the season. This wasn't a fluke. It wasn't luck. This was execution, confidence, and heart, led by the so-called role players that Vegas never saw coming. Let's start with Natasha Howard.
Natasha Howard, really, the first half of the game, 6 of 9, 66%, 18 points.
The undisputed engine of this win. She didn't just play well, she dominated. 18 points, 13 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 blocks.
Natasha Howard was like a one-woman unleashed version of herself, just wreaking havoc defensively and making all types of these swooping shots. And I believe she finished up the night with 18 and 13.
She did it all. Offense, defense, energy, leadership.
Just play my game and also just contributing to my teammates and my teammates contributing back to me as well. But it was just like I said before, it was just our defense. Me, it was just my defense, and it helped me out on the offensive end.
Her third quarter takeover was the pivot point. She dropped 11 of her 18 points in that quarter alone. And not just easy layups or open jumpers.
When you guys weren't turning it over nearly as much, you guys were settling in. What contributed to that in your mind?
First of all, you're taking care of the ball. We only had, 3 turnovers in the second half? So for me, I just took advantage on the defense and who was guarding me and stuff.
She battled in the paint, pushed through contact, and got the Fever out of their funk when they needed it most. Even more impressive, 0 turnovers. While the Aces were coughing up the ball left and right, Natasha played like a veteran with something to prove. The physicality, the presence. She made it clear, this is what leading looks like. Then there's Sophie Cunningham. What a turnaround. Critics had been calling her a liability. They questioned the trade. They laughed at her rough shooting start to the season. But she shut all of that down in one electric performance.
This game, big win. What a ridiculous foul call. I don't get it.
15 points on just 5 shots? Yes, 5. She was lethal from deep, efficient.
That's the key. All right, we're not talking about a 7 for 24 or whatever. Efficient.
And fearless. She didn't just make shots, she made statement shots. Every time Vegas seemed like they might creep back in, Sophie buried them with a dagger 3.
Vegas has done a nice job coming on.
All right, the little handoff over to Sophie. Boom, way downtown. She is knocking them down.
She went 3 for 4 from behind the arc.
Sophie, another big game, 4 or 5, 3 or 4 from three-point range, 15 points.
And looked like the most confident shooter on the court. But what's worse for Vegas, she could have had even more. But the coaching staff inexplicably pulled her during her hot stretch. Still, she made her mark. Defensively, she was just as impactful, locking up Vegas guards, switching with discipline, and making life miserable for anyone trying to find a rhythm. This is what happens when a player finds their confidence, and the league should be nervous because Sophie is heating up. And then there was Aari McDonald, the closer.
Aari McDonald, that's a big shot. That's a big shot. We'll glance in a minute.
The moment the Aces thought they had one last window to come back, Aari slammed it shut. Up just 5 with under a minute to go, she pulled up from deep, buried the triple, and iced the game.
Aari McDonald icing the game with a step-back deep 3 late in the fourth.
Aari McDonald is going to knock down the game winner, the dagger, the one that clinched it right here.
That shot wasn't just a bucket. It was a message. Aces fans sat in silence. You could see the confidence drain from Vegas in real time. It was the dagger that ended any hope. And it came from a player they probably didn't even game plan for. But Aari didn't stop there. She went 3 for 3 from deep.
Aari McDonald, 3 of 3 from three-point range tonight.
Played relentless defense and helped keep the offense flowing when the game slowed down. Meanwhile, Kelsey Mitchell,
highlighted by a run that featured contributions from Natasha Howard, Sophie Cunningham, Aari McDonald, Kelsey Mitchell.
Another name often lost in the Caitlin hype, stepped up when it mattered. She had a brutal start, going ice cold for 2.5 quarters. But she didn't fold. She kept shooting.
Kelsey Mitchell, awful night shooting from the field, 33%.
And in the fourth quarter, she exploded, going 4 for 5 and putting the final nail in the coffin.
Kelsey Mitchell, let's go. Right here. Way downtown, boom. Knocks it down right there.
That's the kind of resilience the Fever have built this season. A team that no longer collapses under pressure.
We did a really good job, not only physically, but seriously mentally, because we have been struggling and inconsistent when they go on runs, and we stopped it, and then we went on our runs. And so that's a big step for us, and I just said it, but it's all about consistency.
Even when their star is out. Even bench contributors like KK Timpson brought fire. Rebounding, defense, energy. She was battling like every possession was her last. And it matters. Because when everyone steps up like that, when everyone plays like they have something to prove, it creates a storm even the top seeds can't survive. And that's exactly what happened to the Aces. They didn't just lose to the Fever. They lost to a team of fighters. They were beaten by the people they overlooked. While Vegas leaned on their stars, Indiana leaned on their system. While the Aces looked for whistles,
Michaela Timpson minutes, timely rebounds and challenged some shots, altered some looks, and checked out around 4 minutes remaining. And I think her contributions definitely stopped the Aces from, getting clean looks.
The Fever looked for open shooters. While A.J. Wilson pouted after every missed call, players like Natasha, Sophie, and Ari just kept grinding and winning. This win wasn't just a box score success. It was a cultural win, a mindset shift. The message was loud and clear. Caitlin Clark may be the star, but this team isn't just her shadow. These women can ball, they can win, and they can expose even the biggest names in the league when they take their foot off the gas. The Aces, they got caught sleeping. The Fever, they proved they're awake and dangerous. And when Caitlin returns, good luck to whoever's next. Because this version of Indiana, they aren't just playing for respect anymore. They're coming for the crown.
Stephanie White really and truly showed a little emotion. My issue is, there's been so many other valid times to lose her shit. And this random game,
before the shot, and
Stephanie White goes absolutely ape shit in this thing. She gets attacked. She says that's bullshit. Where has this fire been?
Caitlin Clark didn't suit up. She didn't score a point. She didn't record an assist. But somehow, her presence was still felt in every pass, every rotation, every huddle, and every big-time shot. That's not just star power. That's influence. Because what we saw against the Aces wasn't just a win. It was a reflection of what Caitlin Clark has built around her: belief, energy, and expectation. Before Caitlin arrived, the Indiana Fever were a struggling franchise, ignored by the media, and outmatched on the court. Now, they walk into games with swagger. Even without their leader on the floor, they play like they belong, like they're coming for anyone who doubts them. That mentality doesn't happen overnight. That's what Caitlin brings. She's raised the standard, pushed the tempo, and demanded accountability. Not just for herself, but for everyone in that locker room.
July 15th injury to her right groin. Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations.
Look at how her teammates performed. Sophie Cunningham is shooting lights out. Ari McDonald is delivering dagger threes. Natasha Howard is playing the best ball of her season. That's what happens when a team buys into the culture of competition, focus, and winning. Caitlin's presence in practices, in film sessions, and even on the bench fuels that fire. These players aren't just stepping up because she's out. They're playing harder because they know she'll be back, and they want to be ready. You could even feel her impact in the crowd. The energy was different. The Fever fans are louder, more invested, more locked in. Why? Because Caitlin Clark made them care. She turned Indiana into a basketball destination again. Now every win, even when she's not active, feels like part of a bigger mission. And let's not ignore the psychological effect on the Aces. Think about it. They lost to the Fever twice without Caitlin Clark. That's not just embarrassing. It's damaging. It plants a seed of doubt. Because deep down they know, if Indiana is this dangerous without her, what happens when she's back at full strength? What happens when she's orchestrating that offense, stretching the floor, and pushing the tempo? The Aces were already on their heels, and the Queen wasn't even on the board. That's the scariest part for the rest of the league. The Fever just sent a message, and Caitlin didn't even have to say a word.
It's a fun game to watch. I thought that run in the third quarter, was some of the best basketball I think they've played this season.
The Las Vegas Aces came in thinking it would be an easy win. No Caitlin Clark? No problem, right? Wrong. The Fever didn't just survive. They dominated, exposed weaknesses, and embarrassed a team built to win titles.
The Aces being 0-2 against the Caitlin Clarkless Fever is a really, really bad.
A'ja Wilson looked rattled. The so-called super team got humbled. And Caitlin Clark, even from the sidelines, left her fingerprints all over this win. If this is what the Fever can do without her, imagine what's coming when she's back. Buckle up. This story's just getting started.